Hello to everyone listening. Today we are going to talk about bees. Walk us through the process of relocating a beehive.
Okay, Joe calls me up and says, hey, I got a bee problem. So show up and got this giant ball of bees hanging in the tree. Walk up, put a box underneath it, clip the branch off, put the box inside, or put the ball of bees inside the box. Clip all the other branches around it. And then I leave the box there for a day. And then all the foraging bees and everything that's been out working come back to that hive because they recognize the queen's inside the box now. So then you take that, you take it to an apiary or a location where you could keep bees, and then you got a colony for free. And that's how you relocate bees.
Tell us a little bit about sustainable orchard apiaries.
Sustainable orchard apiaries is probably one of the newest commercial beekeeping businesses to San Diego and Riverside County. So I'm registered with the San Diego County Department of Agriculture and got set up for my business because I want to produce honey and sell the products, products of the hive. I started relocating swarms whenever I got calls, from swarms that were easily accessible, because I found out real quick some of those extractions could be very time consuming and also very difficult to get to if they're in a structure. So it gets pretty involved and complicated at times. So I quickly shied away from those really difficult extractions and then stuck more to the easy swarm removals. I quickly found out how much work it is to keep bees. And so I haven't done very many swarm relocations lately or extractions lately because keeping my bees now is first priority, as a new beekeeper, and it's a lot of work. So I've been doing a lot of it alone. But every now and then I got a friend or a family who helps out, and I'm getting a lot of help from the locals up there in the Temecula area, which is great. So I went through 60 hives just the other day. So that's my best so far. One full day at work. I went through 60, checking them, making sure the queens are good, making sure the brood pattern is good, making sure there's no pests, going through my integrated pest management practices.
What kind of a role do bees play in the local ecosystems and agricultural systems in the San Diego area?
Now, bees are super important to our ecosystem and even our local ecosystem. Those of you who like to eat food, without bees, we'd be in trouble. So the pollinating factor alone is a huge thing for all fruits and vegetables. And so, and then other, products from the hive, the honey, of course, wax, pollen, which a lot of us use locally. A huge part of beekeeping that I was drawn to immediately was the whole immunotherapy angle, that producing my own honey from my backyard, I'd be building my immunity to the local pollens and grasses. And so my wife has some issues too, and this should help.
The queen, you put in the queen case? What is that?
Cage. Yeah, queen catcher.
Alright, I'm out of here.
What's one challenging aspect of beekeeping?
Okay, one challenging part of beekeeping is simply pest management alone. They're coming from all different angles. And 8 of the 10 ranches I'm currently working on are certified organic, so I'm very limited in my means that I can use and that I want to use, because of course I want to stay away from chemical pesticides and those. There's a lot of natural practices and remedies that I'm using currently, and so you just get attacked from one side and then you turn around, you're being attacked from the other side. So it's tricky to stay on top of them, but we all have our own little proprietary secrets that help us get along.
What can members of the general population do to support their local bee populations?
Something that locals could do to support their local bee population, or even your local beekeeper and bee populations, are by trying to reduce the use of spray pesticides because once they're airborne and then attached to a fence or a house or something like that, they stay there for a while before they become inert. So if you could reduce that and just try to really, if you have to use it, I understand, to be practical too. Sometimes you have to use that stuff, but just be very careful and then clean up. Don't leave the residue out if you got to do that. And then if you got a bee that comes by and checks you out, don't swat at it. A lot of times they're just attracted to how you smell, and if you have perfume or cologne on, or even your deodorant, they're attracted to that. And so normally they'll notice, oh, there's no flower here to give me nectar. They'll leave you alone. They'll fly away. But if you swat at them, it will agitate them, and then they will attack. So that's how people get stung easily these days. But a lot of times just leave them alone, and they'll be on their way.
All right, time for your plug. Where can we go to learn more about what you do?
The county offers a lot of free information online about beekeeping as a hobbyist, all the way to a sideliner and commercial beekeeper like myself now. But there's tons and tons of information on the web, and your county has a lot of it, from all the laws and regulations to best management practices, tips, and all kinds of helpful hints.
Thanks. See ya.